Hello and welcome to part 118 of Let's Play Dangan Ronpa. When we left off, I wasn't able to click on the plastic cup because of a navigation glitch that seems to happen all too often in this game. So, there's a plastic container on the floor near the rec room door. It looks like a bottle of protein. It's empty too. Probably Ugami's. She was always drinking protein. Plus she and Asahina like to talk about how protein could cure anything. Be careful, that's hyperbole. Yes, I know. Anyway, the label on this protein container says Chem Lab A2. And it reminds me, Ugami did say something about the Chem Lab on the 4th floor having a good protein, which means that I am once again going to have to piss around with the JPCSP piece of shit that is, using the term loosely, a PlayStation Portable emulator. It's nowhere near as good as PPSSPP. It runs so slowly and you can not read any of the writing. Which would mean this came from a chem lab. That does make sense. Huh? What doesn't? That doesn't make sense. On the floor, around the container, the shards of light-blue glass from when I broke the door's window. The shards aren't just scattered around the container, but under it as well. Does that tell us something? I'm not sure specifically what it means just yet, but it wouldn't hurt to keep it in mind. If I shattered the glass, then it wouldn't have gotten under it unless it turned up after I shattered the glass. So, I'm guessing it'll turn out to be a very important clue. A very important clue, what does she mean by that? Loaded empty protein container into your electro ID. You can find them in the ammunition menu. Alright, and the last thing for this room is this, I discovered. The rec room door wouldn't open because this chair was shoved up against it. But I see no trace of any sort of apparatus, like string or a metal hook or anything. So there wasn't anything done to the chair itself. And I think that's all we have. This door is the one and only entrance to the rec room. The door doesn't have a lock, and there's no trace of the handle having been removed. The one thing that sticks out is the broken glass, but that's my fault since I broke it getting into the room. I also don't see any evidence of string or any other kind of contraption having been used. Which means there's nothing out of the ordinary about the door itself. Having examined both the door and the empty chair, that's pretty much no question. The door wouldn't open because the chair was wedged in front of it. The chair prevented the doorknob from turning, which in turn prevented the door from opening. And since neither the doorknob or chair show any signs of having been modified in any way, the culprit couldn't have made the sealed room from the outside. It had to have been from the inside. Now, I really want to click on this, but it takes me to here because that wasn't open before. Hold on, it won't let me click on the billiards table at all. God, I thought it might have just been a reversal. I need to probably investigate the crime scene before I go anywhere else, which means that I can't do anything else until I investigate the locker. And I can't investigate the locker until I piss around with JCPSP again. JPCSP, sorry. I always don't get why they put the C in the middle of the PSP instead of putting the C before PSP or after the PSP, but whatever. It seems not only can they not only not make a PSP emulator, they can also not name a PSP emulator. Right. So, I'm gonna get stressed out because JPCSP is so shitty. It'll take me about half an hour to sort. Well, it won't. It'll take me like 10 minutes to sort this out, but still pisses me off. But as we're only 5 minutes through the episode, I can't leave it for today. So I'm gonna have to split. So I'm gonna have to record twice and combine the video on YouTube. So I will be back in just a sec, viewers, which means just a second for you, and 10 minutes of agonizing pain for me. Hello and welcome to... Hold on, why am I saying that? I'm halfway through an episode. Hello. 2 seconds ago we were trying to get to the locker, but I had to go and do some stuff, and I thought it was a new episode, but it wasn't because I'm retarded, and I forgot I said that it would be the same episode. So, basically, the locker's door has been left open, and look at this on the inside. There are handprints. Handprints. Now, why would there be handprints in a place like this? Maybe because someone pressed their hands against it and left a print. Kirigiri, God, I thought it was supposed to be smart. Due to all the dust inside the locker, it looks like prints were left there anywhere it was touched. It appeared to be relatively new as well. I'm guessing someone was hiding in this locker and that's why they left these handprints. Oh hey, in that case, could the couple maybe have been hiding inside the locker when we unsealed the room? And then after we broke the seal, then slipped out into the crowd acted like they had just shown up? So I disappoint you, but that's out of the question, you fucking retard, because it's directly behind Ugami's body. I think we'd have noticed the murderer going, hey, as they opened the freaking locker. Plus, it was open as I looked through the window. I'm pretty sure. So to disappoint you, but that's out of the question. Huh? Why? Recall how the room looked through the window before we broke the seal? That's right, the locker was already open. Therefore, it's not possible for someone to have been hiding in the locker when we unsealed the room. But in that case, what do these handprints mean? It means someone was hiding in there when Ugami got here. Well, Nagi, have you gotten a good look at everything? Yeah, I think, at least a cursory look. Next, interviews. I'm on guard duty, so I can't go anywhere. So you're going to go and do it in my place. She's got this all planned out, doesn't she? Ever since we cleared the air between us, she's got a little pushy. Either way, she's right. We're going to need to conduct some interviews. I need to see what the other 2 people Ugami summoned have to say about that. So, we can leave now, yes? Yes. Time to find how you fare. More than likely, the 2 of them are in the dorms. Alrighty. So, Nagi, Mizono, Ugami, and Ashima, Fukuwa. Place my finger on the bell, and after a short wait, what? Who is it? A wave of sour negative energy lurched out into the hall when Fukuwa opened her door. What do you want? Fukuwa, you're back to yourself again, not genocider. Don't talk about her around me. You'll spoil my mood. I was just beginning to enjoy myself. This is what enjoying herself looks like? Hey, is now a good time? I need to talk to you about something. After clicking her tongue loud enough for me to hear, Fukuwa stepped out into the hallway. What is it? You said you needed to talk to me. Actually, I was wanting to ask you about that note you got from Ugami, asking you to meet her in the rec room. What? Don't ask me, I don't know anything about that. Tagami admitted to having got one. Huh? My white knight was also summoned? Slip of the tongue. Now it's completely obvious that I was summoned too. Yep, it kinda is. So, you want to tell me about that? Yes, I did see the note. But I didn't go to the rec room, I was too afraid to go. She said she didn't go, but is that really true? I don't have any evidence to claim otherwise, so I'll just have to believe her for now. You've heard enough, yes? I'm going back to my room, and with that, Fuqua scurried back into her room. Now, wouldn't it have just been easier if you got everybody's hands and compared them to the frickin' handprints? I placed my finger on the bell. And after a short wait, what's up, Nags? You need me for something? Something I wanted to ask you, Hagakure. Ugami invited you to the rec room earlier. Where'd you hear that? Did you read my mind? Have you ever worked on a secret ability, dude? Anyway, I'm not the only one she invited, dude. Oga told me herself, dude. She also invited both Kawa and Togs. Huh? You told Ugami? When was this? Well, when she invited me, dude. Thought she delivered notes to everyone. Yeah, the note. She gave it to me in person, dude. That's when she told me. This story is obviously pretty fishy. So did you go to the rec room? Hell no, I didn't. Like a go see her. Something doesn't add up here. Last time I saw Ogo was when we brought Asahina down to the infirmary, dude. After that, I never saw her again. While I'm here, could you let me have a look at the note you were given? Note. Do I still have a note? Hagakure shoved his hand into his pocket. Sorry, man. I don't have it. It's gone. And gave me a twitchy smile as he pulled it back out. And when he did, something fell to the floor in front of me, something from inside his pocket. Crap. He swept it up in like a gust of wind and shoved it back into his pocket. Trash, dude, trash. Just some trash I forgot to throw out, dude. Trash. Really. You mean those sweets that Asahina apprehended from the storage rooms, but only she could eat them and then handed Ugami some? That kind of trash? Anyway, Oga invited me to the rec room, but true is truth, I didn't go, so I'm out of here, dude. Not even giving me a chance to speak, but he forcefully ended our conversation and fled to his room. He says it was just a piece of trash, but that wasn't just any trash, was it? Well, I've heard what Fuqua and Hagakure have to say, but what next? Sounds like I'm going to have to re-examine the crime scene. In addition to that, should probably do some looking into that protein container I found in the rec room. So a call that came from the chem lab. Alright, well, what first? Well, as soon as I'm going to need to do some weird stuff to get into the chem lab, and as soon as it's quicker to go to the crime scene, I'll head back to the crime scene. I've still got 92 Monokuma coins to spend. And I bet you I could put all the Monokuma coins in there and I would still have a % chance of missing and getting the same one again. Oh, no. In here. Alright, so I've been going about 15 minutes. How did the interviews go, Nagi? Oh, exactly what I had heard from Fuqua and Hagakure. I see, so all three of them, including Togami, claim they never responded to Ugami's invitation. But it doesn't add up. Someone is probably lying. Someone is lying. In any event, I've made some progress here too. Ugami's corpse, a magazine rack, and Monokuma bottles. I found new clues in all three of those places. You would do good to investigate them all once more. Alright, so what did she say? So the magazine rack. Kiri says she found something new at the magazine rack. Let's see, clues. What's this? One of the magazines is upside down. Did someone put it back on the rack wrong? If something stands out, just give it a closer look. Ah, yeah. I picked up the upside down magazine and began flipping through the pages. What the? Right in the middle of a page there was a Right in the middle of the magazine there was a page with a hurriedly scribbled bloody message. Fuqua. Could this be a dying message? She found it too. Here, is this a dying message? Probably. It was written with someone's finger. A dying message? Yeah, I thought so. But just for the record, I wasn't the one who initially put it in the rack upside down. When I found it earlier, it was already like that. After examining it, I made sure to put it back exactly the way I found it, for anyone who found it later. Hey, does that say Fuqua? Yeah, that's what it looks like. So she's the killer. She is, isn't she? We don't know that for certain yet. It is for certain. She's the killer. But it's decisive evidence. We've got her cornered now. It does look like some pretty decisive evidence, but it also feels a little too blatantly obvious, which has me questioning its legitimacy. Monokuma bottles. Kyrie said she found something new with these Monokuma bottles. Clues. So, did you figure it out? Look carefully, and you should see there's a pattern to that set of Monokuma bottles. Pattern. Hold on a second. That's supposed to be a bishop there. The third one in. The one with no glass on either side. Is that a bishop? Because if so, that means one that's missing on the left hand side should be a knight, which is what I've already found, and the one on the right hand side should be a queen, which I haven't seen. Come on, Gege, can't you just tell me? Sharing leads is one thing, but there's a danger in sharing the conclusions drawn from those leads. No one will necessarily influence your deductions prior to the class trial. You need to reach your own conclusions, ones that satisfy you, not me. So it's not that you don't trust me? No retort? I do trust you to some degree. If I didn't, I wouldn't be telling you this. To some degree, she says. To tell you the truth, there's actually one other thing about those bottles that has me curious. I'd like to conduct an experiment to test my hypothesis. You'll give me a hand, won't you? An experiment? First, I need you to gather up all the Monokuma bottle fragments on the floor, even the smallest shards. Huh? Are you sure? Should we really be tampering with the scene? Everyone's had a chance to look around, so it should be fine. That loudmouth Tagami isn't around either. I've got to get some equipment from the chem lab. You take care of that while I'm gone. Without Kirigiri vanished from the rec room, I have no idea what's going on. What can you do? Not like I've got much of a choice. Using a broom and dustpan I found in the rec room, I swept up all the bottle fragments on the floor. And just as I finished that... Sorry to keep you waiting. All done? Then let's get started. What kind of experiment are we doing? I brought a balance back from the chem lab. We're going to compare masses. Compare that what with what? The fragments you collected in a whole Monokuma bottle. What for? That's the whole point of this experiment, you'll see. First, let's compare the masses of two unbroken Monokuma bottles. The two sides are balanced. That means each of the Monokuma bottles weighs roughly the same. The only difference, of course, would be the size of the chess piece, which wouldn't make much of a difference. Well, that makes sense. There's not much difference between the figures and nothing else to create a weight difference. Now here's a real test. Let's try putting the fragments you picked up on one side of the balance. What do you suppose will happen? Well, there are two possibilities. Either they'll weigh the same, or the broken bottle will weigh slightly less. I tried my best to pick up everything, but it's still possible I missed some. Well then, let's see what happened. Fragments weigh more? What? Why? So I was right. Because not one Monokuma bottle was smashed. Taking both results of the experiment and the Monokuma bottle's hidden pattern in conjunction, there's only one conclusion you can draw, or at least that's what I think. What do you think? That's all up to you. The two Monokuma bottles were smashed. And what was the other thing you want me to investigate? Her body? Figure said she found something new with Ogami's body. You're not going to learn anything from just gawking at the body. Well, yeah, I suppose. Do I have a problem with touching corpses? Alright, fine. Stark contrast to my unshakable reluctance, Kirigiri didn't even bat an eye. It was a sight I'd gotten used to, and it brought a familiar thought to mind. I'm surprised you can do that and keep a straight face. I'll never be able to get used to the sight of a body. That's normal. Then how can you... I must have had plenty of opportunities in the past to come into contact with dead bodies. Huh? Never mind. More importantly, look at this. Yugami's shoe? You see the yellow powder on the foot? Yeah, I see it. That's the first clue. Loaded Yugami's shoe into your electrified bee. I said I wasn't going to do that anymore. Next is a wound on her head. Take a good look. Actually, that might be too much for you. I'll explain. It seems she wasn't struck once, but twice. She was struck twice? Aha! I see something coming together here. Because 2 of the Monokuma bottles are smashed, I think. Methinks 2 are missing at the very least. And the fragments suggest that they're both on the floor smashed. Intriguing, isn't it? And here's another rather interesting fact. Both of Yugami's hands are perfectly clean, not even a trace of blood on their fingertips. Well, that's everything I was able to uncover. Now that means the dying message probably wasn't to her either. Which means Fukuwa is probably not the killer. Probably someone trying to frame Fukuwa in the same way that Yugami tried to frame her in the 2nd chapter, and Celeste tried to frame Hagakure in the 3rd. I don't worry, they all try and frame each other. Still, to think she was able to learn so much just by examining Yugami's body, that's a feat I imagine only Kirigiri could pull off. Well, that's everything Kirigiri told me about. I've got a lot of new information, but the biggest question, how the sealed room is constructed, is still shrouded in mystery. That reminds me, there was something I wanted to tell you, Nagi. I went to get the balance. I saw Yugami in the chem lab. It would have caused more than a few problems had he spotted me, so I had to sneak in and take it. Is there something I should be getting from this? If you haven't investigated the chem lab yet, perhaps it would be worth taking a look around. When you mentioned it, the protein container we found came from the chem lab, didn't it? You're right, maybe I should go check it out. Maybe you should. Leave the room, yes. And that's the reason I was pretty pissed off when I found out that the chem lab wouldn't let you in. Alright, so I'm gonna end this episode here. Because if I don't, then I'm afraid staff room and chem lab. Of course, that takes me over to here. Rattle. Door's locked, there's no getting inside. Hold on. So I want to quickly check with you guys what the headmaster's one links me to again. Oh yeah, it linked me to one of the classrooms. Okay, right, that's all I needed to do. Alright, so chemistry lab it is. So that's where we'll start the next episode, from inside the chem lab. So that's on the next episode. The next episode will probably get up to the beginning of the trial as well, so expect the first episode of the trial soon. So, until then, folks, I don't know why I'm not saying anything. I've kind of just lost it a little bit for a second. Anyway, sorry. Next episode on the top right, previous on the top left. Before I make a fool of myself anymore this episode, I'm going to end it. Until next time, folks. See ya.